Sennheiser have just released two products aimed at simplifying audio on the move, the MKE 400 shotgun microphone and the XS lav mic. Now in this review we're looking at the MKE 400. So I'm at the top of a very windy Beacon Hill in Hampshire, overlooking Highclere Castle, which is where they filmed the Downton Abbey series. The hill is steeped in history, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. Just so you know, you're hearing me from the MKE 400, and I'm shooting this on an iPhone 10 with the Sennheiser mobile kit. The MKE 400 is set to mid-gain, the low-pass filter is switched on, and we do have the MZH400 furry windshield fitted. In the cutaway shots, I'll remove it though so you can see the switches and buttons a bit easier. Now it is really windy up here. We do have the main A34 dual carriageway giving us some background hum. The cutaway video shots you'll be seeing are from a Panasonic camcorder, but the audio track for everything in the entire video is from the iPhone via the MKE 400. So before we go any further, I'm going to disconnect the MKE 400 and record on the internal mic on the iPhone so you can hear the difference, and then we'll get into the specifics. Okay, so this is the internal mic on the iPhone, and you'll no doubt hear some difference. We're 261 metres above sea level, not exactly a mountain, but an amazing viewpoint. And this is what you might hear if you were a vlogger, news reporter, in fact anybody using a smartphone on its own to create content. You may have noticed the MKE 400 switched off when the camera was disconnected, and that's to preserve battery life. And as I reconnect the MKE 400 back, the microphone. Now, let's have a look at the features. The MKE 400 is the second generation with the same name as its predecessor and has updates to its design and feature set. It weighs in under 100 grams and measures 126 millimeters by 67 by 37, so it's nice and compact on a DSLR with a mobile kit on an iPhone. Inside the windscreen protective housing, you've got a shock-mounted supercardioid polar pattern microphone, ensuring the audio pickup is from the direction the camera is facing. Now to get started you need two AAA batteries. They're supplied in the box and they slide into the rear. Now according to the manual this will power the MKE 400 for up to 100 hours, and as we said before it will detect if the camera is on or off to further preserve battery life. There's also a low battery warning when you've 3 hours left. I've not seen that myself yet, but I think you can rest assured it won't just suddenly turn off without warning. Now if you are turning the microphone off manually, then the on-off switch has an off delay as well to prevent accidentally turning it off. Just press and hold for about a second to turn it off manually. The controls are easily accessible, so we'll start with the low cut filter switch. I'll turn it off and you may be able to hear the difference. It limits the pickup of low frequencies and helps reduce wind noise, distant vehicles which we have here, and also things like air conditioning, hum, and sometimes camera handling, although the shock-mounted capsule does a pretty good job at helping with that as well. With the switch over to the bent line, you have it activated, so I'll switch that back on. There's a 3-position gain control to adjust the audio gain depending on the environment and also of course the camera that you're using. Now I won't slide that backwards and forwards now, but we're in the mid position now and you've got a high and a low, so it's always worth doing tests on your camera to decide on the best position before you start shooting. Now if you're using the MKE 400 with a smartphone, then monitoring the audio might be an issue. So Sennheiser have included a 3.5mm jack with 8 positions of volume at 8 dB per step. The output's a really nice crisp sound as you'd expect from Sennheiser. The mic output cable is secured with a screw-in 3.5mm jack that locks in and is supplied with 2 coiled cable options, a stereo TRRS connection for cameras and a TRRS for smartphones, and they even added a little label to remind you on the one for smartphones. With the iPhone I'm using, I've added the 3.5 jack to a lightning adapter. Now I mentioned the Sennheiser mobile kit, which includes a Sennheiser smartphone clamp and a Manfrotto PIXI mini tripod. As soon as you pick up the Manfrotto you'll be reassured of the quality with a good weight to it, and it's got a push button head to do the rotation. The Sennheiser phone clamp is also nicely made and securely holds your smartphone. So there you go, that's the Sennheiser MKE 400 mobile kit. Definitely worth a look if you're on the move. Now I'm going to spin the camera around and you can enjoy Beacon Hill, where 2,000 to 3,000 people once inhabited this very spot about 1000 BC, where there was a hilltop fort. Also lying here is the tomb of the famous Egyptologist George Herbert, 5th Earl of Carnarvon, who excavated Tutankhamun's tomb. And if that wasn't enough, it's also where aircraft engineer Sir Geoffrey de Havilland made his first successful flight on the 10th of September 1910. It's an amazing place that I've been walking up and down since I was about 3 years old, so I thought a perfect place to come and show you the MKE 400 mobile kit. Thanks for watching. I hope you've heard what you wanted to hear, and do subscribe to the channel and look out for more reviews.